Look, if you are still struggling to remove your collections, foreclosures, repossessions, bankruptcies, late payments, judgments, whatever from your credit report, then this is probably the video that you want to watch, and you need to watch it to the end. Now, here's the reason. I'm giving you a checklist to maximize your dispute letter, and I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do to, first of all, locate your negative items, what to do with them, what to look for, how to put it into a dispute letter so that you can, again, maximize your dispute letter to their maximize your results, right? Now, here's the deal. There's so many people that just say that, hey, you just plug all this information into a template, send the template, and wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, you get all of your results. No, it doesn't work like that. If it worked like that, then guess what? You wouldn't be watching this video because you would have done it already. And those same people that had those templates that probably wouldn't even get stuck in the system and verified as accurate immediately after receiving it without investigation would probably go and meet the president because they have the instant cure to bad credit. And because there is no such thing, that's why you are here watching this video, and you need to watch it to the end, okay? Okay, first of all, I want you to go and like this video, subscribe if you haven't done so, and we are gonna get to this. All right, so we have a dispute letter checklist and then another checklist to remove all instances of certain words and phrases, okay? Now, what I want for you to do while you're watching this video is put away everything, literally take in from your brain everything that you've already learned outside of what I've taught you about how to fix your credit. Okay, everything that you need to know, basically everything, virtually everything is going to be right here. So without further ado, we're going to get right to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a credit report and I'm going to put it right next to this, and we're just going to go fix this real quick so that we can stick both of them on here. Might need to be a little bit smaller. We're going to move this stuff over. Okay, so the reason that we're doing this is so that you can see what you need to right next to what I'm doing. Okay. Here we go. So we have a credit report, and I found one that has quite a few negative items on it. And what we're going to do is exactly as I mentioned, we're going to go locate all the derogatory accounts. We are then going to locate all the inaccuracies for each of those accounts, and we're going to create a hierarchy of the inaccuracies for those accounts. Okay. So why are we doing this? Well, we are doing this very simply because it's not easy to remove things from your credit report, and anybody that tells you otherwise is just trying to get in your wallet, okay? So what we're going to go do is find our negative items, and you should be taking this information from a website such as Identity IQ, Smart Credit, or My Score IQ, okay? Now, the difference between Identity IQ and Smart Credit is going to be that Identity IQ actually shows a 2-year payment history and Smart Credit shows a 7-year payment history. If you want to use Identity IQ, there's a link down in the description, a little bit of a caveat here, that is my affiliate link, and it's going to give you a discount for $21.99 per month instead of $29.99 per month. I do not have one for Smart Credit. Okay, so at least at this time I don't. So let's go check out our dispute letter checklist. Locate all derogatory accounts, then locate all inaccuracies for each account, create a hierarchy of the inaccuracies per each account, create a dispute reason for the number one inaccuracy at the top of the hierarchy, compose a dispute letter, include the number one reason for each account, include the reason why you are writing the letter, and send out your dispute. Okay. Now, while that may sound like a lot, we've got a lot going on here, I promise you that once you actually do this and you do it right the first time, or at least one time, it's not going to be that difficult in the future. Now, the reason that we're doing this is because, again, it's not easy to remove these things. These are not meant to come off your credit report. So if you are not disputing the right way, you're not going to get them removed, okay? So again, take everything out of your head that you've already learned, and this is what you're going to want to do. So I've located my first account, okay? So this is GM Financial, and what we're looking for are going to be the negative accounts that are, negative things that we can, the inaccurate things that we can dispute on our negative account. So obviously we have payment history that we can dispute. We have a couple of things here in the date last active, the date last paid, and if this account had been disputed before, which it has not, we would be looking at the date last reported, and we'd be looking for the required notice to dispute. But because this hasn't been disputed before, it's not going to be on there. So this account is not in violation, okay? So now, per our checklist, now that we've found our inaccurate negative account, we need to find the number one reason that we can actually dispute this. So let's go check this out. if we look at our payment history, you're going to see that for October 21, we have TransUnion reporting a 30-day, we have Experian reporting on time, and we have Equifax reporting 30 days late. Obviously, that's inaccurate. That can be used to remove all of these late payments. A little bit of a caveat here, we have 120 days late. Okay, so now you have to ask yourself, can I correct 120 days late? And the answer to this is going to be no. You cannot correct 120 days late. So you actually have to use one of these reasons that we're actually looking at over here to remove this entire account. So it cannot be corrected. This account has to be removed entirely. Okay. So to do this, let's check to see between the date last active, the date last paid, and the payment history, which one is going to be our number one. So if we look at date of last payment, it says 6/21, 6/21, and 10/21. I probably wouldn't use that. If we look at date last active, it says 1/22, 1/22, and 10/21. I would probably still go down with the payment history on this. So if we go over to write our letter over here, let's just do this. We're going to open up our dispute letter. Let's go type this out. Okay, so this is typing out our entire letter and our dispute reason. So obviously we have to put our personal information. We're going to put our name, address, we're going to put our date of birth and our social. It's actually going to be your full social. Do not put just, XXX-XX-12334. Don't do it. If you do that, it's going to give the bureaus a reason to reject your letter, right? We're going to put today's date. We're going to put whichever bureau you want to write. Let's just say it's going to be Experian. And let's first go out and draft the reason that we're writing this letter, okay? So we're going to say very simply, I found a few inaccuracies on the following accounts, and these need to be removed. Please send me a new credit report reflecting these changes. That's it. That's literally all you have to put. So now we're going to go grab the creditor name. It is GM Financial. We're going to put the account number 11201235, and I put a dash, and now I'm going to create my dispute reason. So for our dispute reason, we're going to be using the Agero formula. The Agero formula actually includes a couple different things, and it's very important that you do this the right way. So let me see if I can go and grab, let's grab a note. Okay, so the Agero formula, if you haven't heard of it before, because I created it, it's very simple. It's going to be action, justifier, element, reason, and for late payments, outcome. All right. So for this one, what we're going to say is let's choose October 21. So for this one, it's going to be delete. Justifier is because, element is payment history, and the reason is October 2021 reports inaccurately and inconsistently between all three bureaus. And this is where I'm going to put my facts. So for TransUnion, it reports as 30 days late. For Experian, it reports on time. And for Equifax, it reports 30 days late. We could also do the same thing if you wanted to choose November 21 instead. That TransUnion reports as 60 days late, Experian reports as 30 days late, and Equifax reports as 30 days late. You see where we're going with this? So what we're going to do is we're going to copy this, copy the reason. We go into our dispute letter, and that was just to show you how that works. So we're going to say for GM Financial, delete this account for inaccuracy, because as you can see, delete is the action, right? Because is the justifier. The payment history is the element. Reports as is a filler, and we're just going to paste our dispute reason. And those are the facts, right? So we're telling them delete this account for inaccuracy because the payment history reports as October 2021. And we're actually going to just change this. We're going to say reports as October 2020 reports as reports. Let's just take out reports. Shows on, that's better. October 21, get rid of this. Sometimes you need to fix it when you're putting your dispute reason together. That's a little bit better. Okay. As you can see, we don't have any extra additional information in here. It's very, very simple, straight to the point. And the reason that this is going to be our number one dispute reason is because we have to actually create a hierarchy, remember? So we go and we locate all derogatory accounts, all inaccuracies for each account, which we did, and we create a hierarchy. So this is going to be number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. We're going to choose number 1 to compose in our dispute letter, include the number 1 reason for each account, and then we already wrote why we are writing the letter. So let's go and find our next dispute reason, or account that needs to be disputed, I guess I should say. Okay, so as we are doing this, let's just talk about something for a second. So here is something to keep in mind. When you are disputing accounts on your credit report, you cannot just ask for a general investigation. And I'm bringing this up because it's actually been asked to me by many people, especially recently. I don't know if it's because someone else said that all you have to do is ask for a general investigation, but that's definitely not what you want to do. With factual disputes, you always want to write the factual dispute. Okay, there's nothing general about a factual dispute. Now for this one, we're going to go and find the reason that the account needs to be updated or removed. That's going to be this 30-day late payment right here, and that is it, okay? As you can see, it says payment status 30 days late. So this account is currently late. Now, a little bit of a note on here. When you're disputing an account that is currently late, you actually are supposed to update this account to be paid on time before you go and dispute it. So you would want to have 3 on-time payments before you dispute this late payment here. But considering that this is all we're dealing with, we're going to have to write this as if we did. All right. So all we're going to have to do is say that, how do we want to do this? I was not late on December 2021. Please update this account to paid on time, never late. Now, having said that, a little bit of something that you should know with accounts and how they're supposed to be reported. Check this out right here. This account says closed, but there's a monthly payment of $43. This is inaccurate. You cannot have a monthly payment on a closed account. So let's go back over here, and we're actually going to ask for, please remove this monthly payment because this account is paid on time. All right. Now, again, you only want to have 1 dispute reason per account, but this technically goes together because we're only updating it. So they do need to fix this because otherwise it screws with your numbers. You don't want to screw with your numbers, right? You don't want it to have, $43 additional as your debt to income or your current monthly payments or anything like that. All right. So let's go and check out what else we have on here. Now, if you think that this is super basic and that you're not learning anything, I promise that it's not basic, and you definitely want to learn how to do this because the longer you dispute, the harder it is to remove your negative accounts. All right. And remember, there's a very specific way that you should be writing this using the JERO formula. I do this for every single client on every single letter, every single month. All right. So, I mean, if you just go back and look at some of the things that I've shared with you, you're going to see that my numbers don't lie. I get the results. 2021 was 23,000 negative items removed, and 2020 was 20,000 negative items removed. All right. So I know my shit. All right. So for IC systems, you are just going to use the validation of debt on this one. Now, the validation of debt is actually going to be, kind of simple. Validation of debt is where you have, it's a 4-letter series. So this goes directly to the collector. So you're not writing a validation of debt to the credit bureaus. It's only to the collection agency. Now, none of my clients ever gets into letter 4. That's where you actually sue them because we always get it off before that between disputing with the bureaus as well as the collector, but this is only for third-party collections. This cannot or should not be used on debt buyer collections. Okay, so keep this in mind when you're using this method. And I actually have a video that, if I remember, I will post it down in the description on why you need to be careful with the validation of debt method. All right, so let's go and go back over here. I'm gonna go choose a pen to write on here. So What you want to do for this one is, again, because of who this is, it's for T-Mobile. We're going to be using the validation of debt. And you want to also check out date less active on here, date less active on here. You want to make sure that this says a collection, that it doesn't say 120 days late. And you also want to check out the payment history, which there should not be any payment history, especially if there is a balance on this account, right? And you also have to ask yourself, why is there a high balance? Why is there a high balance on this account? Now, you also need to look out for a credit limit and a past due. So there's a couple of things that you should be looking for. So number one, what you're going to want to do with accounts like this is you're going to use the validation of debt directly to the collector. You're going to use a regular unverified dispute directly to the bureaus, and that's a bureau dispute. And then if that doesn't work, you're going to go down and you're going to dispute this factually, right? Date less active. And then if you have all these other things in here that I've already mentioned, then you're going to be disputing those. So for this account, we're going to go and we're going to pull up our dispute letter. Let me just fix this. Go into our dispute letter and we are going to dispute this one. I see system, and this is 13274. Delete this unverified collection unless you have ownership documentation proving otherwise. All right, that's it. Okay, so for Waypoint, we're actually going to treat this one the same exact way. All right, so you're going to use the validation of debt on this one. I'm not going to type it out because we already went through this. Now for a portfolio, there's a couple of things that you want to take a look at, and we're just going to grab our pen. All right, so we have date less active, and there's no date last paid, so we're going to skip past that. Date last reported. That's it. Now this is going to be the same thing. There should not be any payment history. There should be no past due because the account was already late, and you want to check out the things that I've already mentioned on this. So this is not one that you want to use the validation of debt. What we're going to do is we're going to write to the bureaus, and we're going to, so portfolio recovery. This is 650-172-580-952. Delete this account because date last active reports as 12/2021 on TransUnion, and 5, I think it said 2021 on Experian, right? And that's it. So as you can see, sometimes it's really simple and sometimes it's very, very difficult, but I hope that you are understanding exactly how to dispute this. All right, so this is actually going to be the last one that we're going to do. So this is going to be American Express. You need to grab a pen definitely on this one. And there's many things that we can that we can use on this, starting with date less active, date less paid, and payment history. So as you can see, this payment history is all over the place, right? Now checks your monthly payments. That's 0. Credit limit, don't really care about that. Although, I mean, that's at the bottom of the hierarchy. It's not going to remove that account, all right? Okay, so this, yep, ready to dispute. So you can either dispute this by going after the first date of delinquency. You can dispute it by going after this date, this date, this date, these over here, or the fact that this reports as activity after the close date, and with Equifax that it reports as paid on time, even though it still has a balance. And if that were true, it would report as 0 balance, while Experian is reporting it as a charge-off. All right. So we need to find our number one reason for this, and our number one reason is actually going to be the payment history. So payment history is number 1, and date less active is number 2. So if you recall, we are only using our number 1. Okay. So for this account, Amex, if I could spell correctly, this is going to be 34999. Delete this account for inaccuracy because the payment history is inaccurate and inconsistent between each bureau. You can even simplify it and say delete this account because the payment history reports as, and then put the information. So we're actually going to go and use December 2020 shows on time for Experian and 30 days late for Equifax. Okay, so if you want to use a different reason, your different reason could possibly be that Experian reports activity after the close date between June 2021 and December 2021, while Equifax reports paid on time. Okay, so you have a lot to work with. Now, your second reason for this account would actually be the date last active, okay? So now that we've done this, let's go close out our letter. We're going to use this one instead. There we go. So now that we have this, let's get rid of this. Let's make this a little bit bigger, get rid of this, and go back to our letter. There we go. Okay. Now that we have that, we're going to drop down about 2 spaces and we're going to very simply say thank you and your name. As you can see, this is very, very simple. So now we have a checklist to remove all instances of, right? So we need to look for pursuant to, my intention, litigation, CC attorney, and anything that makes you look like a credit repair company or that you are not an authentic consumer requiring assistance. Okay, so this is very, 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 very important. All right, and for each dispute reason, I've used the Agero formula, and we've done everything on our checklist here, right? So let's just go take a look one more time. We located all our derogatory accounts, locate all inquiries for, inaccuracies for each account, create a hierarchy of the inaccuracies for each account, create a dispute reason for the number 1 inaccuracy at the top of the hierarchy, compose a dispute letter, include the number 1 reason for each account, include the reason why you are writing the letter, and then we're going to go and send out our dispute. We've also made sure that there's no pursuant to, my intention, litigation, CC attorney, or anything else that says, hey, I'm a credit repair company. All right. So now your letter is actually ready to go out the door. Okay. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is that you, we'll make this as a note, I guess. You want to make sure that you are sending out your letter with all 3 pieces of identification, right? So that's going to be your ID, SSN card, or something with your social on it, just so that you're not giving them a reason to deny your letters, and proof of address. So this would be like a utility bill, pay stub, bank statement, something. Okay. You always need to include this every single time that you send out your dispute. Okay. Another thing is that if you have blatant inaccuracies or you're really trying to get these off as fast as humanly possible, you can include copies of the pages for the negative items that you're disputing, right, from the credit report. Not the entire report, but just like a screenshot, or if you printed it, whatever. Okay. And you can even go and circle, point out, highlight, whatever you want to do. Okay. So this was a very simple way to create a checklist to maximize your dispute letter to remove negative items from your credit report using the credit sweep process. And we're talking about the legal credit sweep process and not the identity theft method. Okay. So I hope that this actually, created some sort of clarification for you. But if you have questions about this, first thing that I want you to do is comment on this video. So I want you to go and like this video if you found it useful or valuable, because it also tells Google and YouTube that, hey, other people might actually like this video. Okay. And I want you to comment on this video and ask me a question about it, because I am probably going to start making my comment videos again, where I go and answer a ton of comments in a video, because there's more people who have the same questions as you do. Okay, so like this video, comment on it, and let me know what it is that you need clarification on that we talked about in this video, or if you didn't understand something, or if you've used something else and you don't understand why this would be a better method. And if this is something that you just don't want to do yourself, not a problem. We can see if I can help. You would just go to my740.com, choose a date, choose a time, and I will see if I can help. All right, so that is it for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will share this board if I can, and you'll find the link down in the description. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and that is it. Bye.